Hi, my name is Manjao and my metric number is E2019102341. So let's enjoy our video. Thanks.
Hi, today our group will present about the application of radiation and nuclear physics used in agriculture industrial. So what is radiation and nuclear physics? Radiation is energy that comes from a source and travels through space at a speed of light. This kind of radiation discussed in this document is called ionizing radiation because it can produce charged particles, which is ions in matter. Ionizing radiation is produced by unstable atoms, and this type of atoms differ from stable atom because unstable atom has an excess of energy or mass or both. And radiation can also produce by high voltage device. An atom with unstable nuclei are said to be radioactive. In order to reach their stability, this atom give off or emit the excess energy or mass. The emission we also can call radiation. Nuclear physics is the study of protons and neutrons at the center of an atom, and the interaction of that hold them together in a space just a few femtometer, which is 10 to 50 meter across. Example of nuclear reaction include is radioactive decay, radioactive fusion, the breakup of a nucleus and fusion, and the merging of nuclei. This is an example of radiation, which is alpha, beta, and gamma decay. Okay, next, what is agriculture? So agriculture is an art and science of cultivating the soil, grow crops, and raising livestock. It includes the preparation of plant and animal products for people to use and their distribution to markets. And agriculture provides most of world's food and fabric. Cotton, wood, and leather are all agricultural products. Agriculture also provides wood for construction and paper products. And these products, as well as the agriculture method used, may vary from one part of the world to another. Okay, so how application of radiation and nuclear physics is used in agriculture industry? So nuclear application in agriculture rely on the use of isotope and radiation technique to combat pests and disease. This can increase crop production, protect the land, and water resources. This ensure food safety and authenticity and increase the livestock production. Okay, so that's all from me. I will pass to my friend. He will explain about how radiation and nuclear physics will use in agriculture industry. Thanks.
Hi, it's me, Shahmi, and I will talk about how does radiation and nuclear being used in agriculture. I will basically talk about plant nutrition studies. Radioisotopes are very useful in estimating the amount of phosphate and nitrogen available in the soil. This estimation helps in determining the ideal amount of fertilizer that containing phosphate and nitrogen that required to be applied to soil. The estimation is handled using fertilizer labeled with phosphorus 32 and nitrogen 15. We know that these two things is radioisotope, common radioisotope. So these two radioisotopes has been used widely to determine how much the fertilizer being utilized or how much the fertilizer consumed by the crops or plants. Radioisotope radiates energy. So the energy released, the energy released is measured to know the composition of phosphorus 32 and nitrogen 15 in soil. This is important to know the ideal amount of nutrients by plant consumption to prevent excessive use in chemical fertilizer. Because excessive use of fertilizer can harm and damage the environment. These isotopes provide a means to determine about amount of fertilizer taken and lost to the environment by the plant. This is one example of a researcher that is using isotopic technique to help increase yield and revenue. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Han Xiaoling, and now I'll explain how does the insect control being used in agriculture. In agriculture, some insects are important for maintaining the natural ecology balance, and some of the insects will destroy the wearable fruit crops, such as the mosquito and testafly are the vectors of infectious disease. One approach to reducing insect depredations in agriculture is to use genetically modified crops so that much less insecticide is needed. Another approach is to disable the insect. The radiations that used to control insect populations is through the steroid insect technique, and we call it SIT. This involves rearing large populations of insects that are steroids through irradiations that use gamma or X-rays, and introducing them into natural populations. SIT consists of giving sterilizing dose of ionization radiations to rapidly rear male insects. The steroid male and then released into the large number in infested area. Females that mate with the steroid male do not produce the progeny, and the repeated release of steroid males in an area, the populations of insect pests is drastically reduced. SIT is different for classical biological control, for example, augmentations, offering a series of desirable differences. The first difference is introduced insects are not self-replicating and so cannot become established in the natural environment. The second difference is SIT impacts only the target pest reproductive cycle, and so is species-specific. For example, SIT impacts only the target male of the pest. The third difference is SIT does not involve the introductions of non-native species to an ecosystem. Thank you.
Hello. So, advantages of nuclear in agriculture. So the first is animal productivity and health. So nuclear and related technologies have made a difference in improving livestock productivity, controlling and preventing transboundary animal disease and protecting the environment. So the second one is improve soil and water balance. So nuclear techniques are now used in many countries to help maintain healthy soil and water system, which are paramount in ensuring food security for the growing global population. So the third one is pest management. So the nuclear derived sterile insect technique, or SIT, involve mass rearing and sterilizing male insects before raising them over pest infected areas. The technique suppresses and gradually eliminates already established pests or prevents the introduction of invasive species, and is safer for the environment and human health than conventional pesticides. So the fourth one is food safety. So food safety and quality control system need to robust at national level to facilitate the trade of safe food and to combat food fraud. So the advantages of nuclear in agriculture is, first is expensive to build. Despite being relatively inexpensive to operate, nuclear power plants are incredibly expensive to build, and the cost keep rising from 2002 to 2008. The estimated cost to build a nuclear plant grew from $2 billion to $9 billion, and power plants often surpass their cost estimates. During construction, nuclear plants must also allocate funds to protect the waste they produce and keep it in cool structures with security procedures in place. All of these costs make nuclear power quite expensive. So the second one is limited fuel supply. Nuclear energy is dependent on uranium and thorium to produce energy. Unless we can find a way to create nuclear fusion or build breeder reactors before our supply dries up, we will be unable to create energy with nuclear power plants we have been built for the future. Ultimately, nuclear power is only a temporary solution with a very high price tag.